Okay. I want to talk a little bit about relationships. There are a number of questions, just a handful, that I'd like you to consider before you commit to anybody. And having sex is not a commitment. Shacking up is not a commitment. A wedding is a commitment. Vows are made in front of your community, your family, and God. It's a sacrament, no matter what religion you are or are not. It's sacred. And it's meant only for things that are meaningful. However, a lot of you just go through the, let's see, we'll date, we'll shack up, we'll get married, we'll buy some place to live, and we'll have kids. Then we'll look at each other and go, what the hell have we done? We got somebody, and that makes us feel good that we're desirable. You have kids. I don't know why, because you're supposed to have kids, right? House, signal, status, lifestyle. And you don't think of actually what the commitment means. So think about it. Think of the why as opposed to I should. We've been going together a long time. We should. So don't do silly things to your head because of practicalities. Don't shack up because, oh, we're going to save money on bills. Oh, I got to get married due to my age. Don't do it because, oh, my family's expecting it. Don't do it, oh, I'm running away from my family. None of that will last. Do it because you're sincerely, profoundly, ecstatically in love and want to make the sacrifices to make someone else happy. A lot of you go into marriage, this is going to make me so happy. Me. No, you get married to make somebody else happy. And you make sure you're marrying somebody with the same intent. That you're actually the same intent. And trust me, you know in 2 years of dating whether there's the same intent. You know if somebody is going out of their way to make sacrifices and the effort to make you happy. And they know the same looking at you. So don't marry for less than that. If you can tell that person is not living their reasonably daily lives trying to make you happy, it's not going to get better. And if you're not willing to do that, it's not going to get better. It's a big risk making a commitment, especially when you start having kids. And if you really haven't taken what I call the 2 years to understand each other's past experiences, present way of handling things, how to negotiate goals in a timeline that matches both of you, have you proven that you can trust each other? Have you proven that you're resonating with the same ideas? Do they listen? Do you listen? Do they touch? Do you touch? Can they talk about thoughts and feelings? Do you? Are their efforts tangible? Are yours? Are you open and vulnerable? Are they? All of this leads to real intimacy. You can screw anybody in a bar tonight or within 10 minutes. So sex is not the epitome of intimacy. All these other things I've said are. And frankly, something a little simpler, do you feel comfortable? Or do you have to pretend, play a part, hide things from them as to who you are, or can you be your own crazy self? If you're faking it, you'll never make it. How can you be loved when you're not presenting who you are to be loved? How comfortable are you with each other as you are? Nonetheless, there are going to be disappointments. Everybody gets frustrated, insecure, annoyed, sometimes not so honest. Relationship has to be able to tolerate short-term stupidity. Do you have a healthy distress tolerance? Can you communicate constructively, or do you waggle a finger and point blames? Can you disagree sweetly? Like I tell people on the air to start their comments to each other, honey, sweetheart, love of my life. Because if you say this in advance of anything you're going to say, they can listen better, and you're less likely to say something that you might not be able to take back. And if it has come to the time where you have hurt each other, can you help each other repair and reconnect? You have to learn to be totally honest with your thoughts and emotions. You just got to learn not to deliver them with venom. Love, honor, and cherish does not say slam with venom. Have you noticed that? Just wondered if you noticed that. My number, 1-800-375-2872. Okay. Sarah, welcome to the program.
Hi.
Hi. What can I help you with?
Well, I've been married for about 10 years. We have two children together. Their ages are 6 and 8. I have a son from a previous marriage at 17. For these 10 years, my husband has been the love of my life. We don't fight. We get along. He is wonderful in every way. Distant at times, doesn't communicate at times, works a hard job, and we're often tired at times, but we make time for each other. And I really, up to this point, thought we had a pretty ideal relationship. I found out a couple weeks ago that he has been having relationships with other women, and they've been virtual through texting. Old girlfriends, women that he has found at work. He's in lots of different places, lots of different times. There's been one physical encounter, but it was not intimate. It was a kiss. And
first of all, I just want to stop you there.
Sorry.
People lie all the time, so don't assume that if he told you it's only a kiss, that's what it was. Come on.
I know. So,
now, how did you come upon this and for 10 years not come upon this? Does it mean he's good at leading a double life, or it just started 20 minutes ago?
No, it's been going on the whole marriage. I've found evidence of this throughout text messages, now pulling things up and looking through things. I've found things from 6
I'm
years
sorry,
ago.
you say it's been the whole marriage?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, say that again. It's been the whole marriage?
It's been the whole marriage.
Why did we have any kids with him?
I didn't have any idea.
You said you knew it the whole marriage. I'm sorry.
No. I'm sorry. It's been happening the whole marriage. I just found out 2 weeks ago. One of the women that he had been seeing kind of turned a little crazy and has been stalking him, which I didn't know about either for the last year since he ended things with her.
Do you realize that you can sleep next to a man who holds you in his arms and looks square into your eyeballs and lie?
Right.
Don't tell me that's a disease. Please don't tell me this is a disease.
I don't know what it is.
I'll tell you what it is.
Okay, good.
Immaturity and no character.
Yeah. Okay. So the counselor that we had been trying to talk to, and again, we've only met a couple times, this is all fresh, has said, well, he must be a sex addict. He needs to go to...
That's just crap. That's just crap.
Good.
It's the disease. It's the disorder. The more that psychotherapists can come up with disorders, the more things they can charge for.
Okay.
And there are diseases of the decade. I mean, for the longest while, all women who went into therapy had to uncover molestations they never remembered. That was big. Agoraphobia, that was very big. Nobody could leave their house except to go shopping. Just kidding. And, of course, you're a sex addict. You're never a bad person.
Okay.
So you're
Yeah,
being
she's been telling
bullshitted by a professional, in my opinion.
Okay. She
Yes,
said
he
this
loves
is
it
out of
because
her
it
realm.
feels good. He loves it because it feels good to get all that attention. It feels great. That's not a disease. Kids are that way until they mature and start learning compassion for others.
Okay.
So I don't want you to be a victim where you've got to stand by and go, my poor husband has a disease. He has to screw other women and talk to them and masturbate to them because he has a disease.
Good.
Those therapists put women like you in a corner.
That's exactly how I feel.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you called me.
I'm glad I did too. What can I do to save my marriage? I have kids
Nothing.
with this man.
Nothing. You can just stay in it till the kids are up and out. But you went in a second marriage and made kids, which I've said when you have minor kids, never do that. Do not get with somebody else until your kid is grown up. Since you disobeyed two things, you're going to have to eat this one.
Okay.
All the things I say on the air are to get in the way of these things happening. That kids are messed up yet again.
Okay.
So, if you're going to have sex with him, make sure he wears 8 condoms. You can't, I don't believe this marriage can be saved. I believe you can stay in it.
Okay.
Because you don't want to visit your kids.
Well, I that's not an option.
Well,
he's
then.
saying he'll change, of course. He's
Ma'am,
developed a relationship.
Ma'am,
with
I don't even
now.
want to hear it. I've spent almost 50 years doing this, and I'm tired of hearing women wanting to buy that nonsense.
Okay. So I stay in it for my kids.
Yes.
Okay.
Especially the
Is there any-
17-year-old
is there
doesn't
any
have to
way to-
see you dumping 2 men.
Is there any way to build back a relationship that could work? Or is this something he'll always do?
Can you do me a favor and stop asking silly questions? Makes me feel bad that I have to sit here and say, when you dream upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Are you old enough to know what that is?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. The day he married you, years ago, he was already doing this. He's always been doing this. And he's good at it, or you're awfully blind. 10 years. How good a liar is he? If in 10 years you had no idea. Can
Yeah.
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how do you expect to get trust back? I'm dying to hear this.
God. That's the only way.
Would you not throw God under the bus? This isn't God's responsibility. This is yours. God gave you a brain and free will. Don't put God under the bus. I don't like that at all.
I don't have any other answers then.
Because there isn't. The man has been consistent for 10 years. How the hell you think you're going to trust somebody? I want to hear this brilliant answer. Come on. He's able to lead a double life for at least 10 years. So explain to me how you're going to get trust. He can look you square in the eye when he's having sex with you and be lying. How are you going to have trust?
I was hoping you could tell me.
I know you were hoping because women like you who make inappropriate choices and feel in a corner just want some magic to make it all better.
Can I ask
There
what
isn't
inappropriate
any.
choice I made?
Getting married when you already had a kid from a broken home. Making
didn't
more
even-
kids.
I
Making
didn't
more
listen to
kids.
you then. I didn't know better. I thought I
Okay, let
was
me just
giving
ask
him a
you
father.
something. Let me just ask you something. You knew there was a risk. Your first marriage blew up, so you knew there was a risk.
My first marriage didn't blow up. I was allergic to my husband, and you can laugh at that, but it's true. I was allergic to my first husband.
Okay. That didn't mean you had to divorce him.
To his semen, and I lived in
You didn't have to divorce him on that. Could have kept the family together for your child.
Okay.
Your poor choices. And that's it for that. My number, 1-800-375-2872. They have all kinds of ways for dealing with these things, but, we make up excuses and we want things to be what they want them to be, and that's it. I mean, you divorced somebody whose sperm you couldn't tolerate, and you were bringing up God? What about the vows? My number, 1-800-375-2872. Let's try this guy. We'll be right back.
Listen. Dr. Laura on Sirius XM Triumph.
You're going to keep listening to the program?
I guess I should.
Listen. Call 1-800-375-2872.
And listen. Imagine your dream European vacation with every detail of your trip planned so you can fully indulge in all that Europe has to offer. Absolutely no guesswork. Make that dream come true with Gate One Travel. For over 40 years, Gate One has brought the world closer with affordable prices. Immerse yourself in new cultures, meet locals, and let Gate One take you on a once-in-a-lifetime European experience. Stroll Prague's narrow cobblestone pathways, marvel at the Acropolis, or navigate Venice's timeless canals. Save 20% off your next booking by visiting GateOneTravel.com and save 20% with the code GATE20. That's GATE20. So don't wait. Book today at GateOneTravel.com and experience more of the world for less with Gate One Travel. Offer expires February 16th and is valid on select European escorted tours.
Ladies, are you feeling satisfied in the bedroom? Men have their solutions, but women haven't had many options. So meet Ristella. Ristella is a hormone-free, plant-based product that's clinically shown to increase sexual satisfaction by 60% in the first month. That's right. Ristella makes intimacy more sensitive, more stimulating, and more satisfying. No hormones, no steroids, and no prescription. Just pleasure. Ristella is so effective, more than 3,600 gynecologists across the country recommend it to improve sexual function. The ingredients in Ristella have been used safely and effectively by women in Europe for over 20 years. Don't you owe it to yourself to give Ristella a try? Visit BetterSexForWomen.com. Use code Radio42 to get 20% off your first month's subscription plus free shipping. That's BetterSexForWomen.com, code Radio42. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hi, I'm Joe Perillo with JoePerillo.com. We know many of you are searching for just that right pre-owned luxury vehicle. That's why I want to tell you about JoePerillo.com. At JoePerillo.com, you could browse our huge selection of curated luxury vehicles. JoePerillo.com is based in Chicago, but we ship cars all over the country. Check out JoePerillo.com. That's Joe Perillo, Perillo. Or dial 312-BMW 1111. That's 312 BMW 1111. 312 BMW 1111.
Isn't it time to do the right thing for yourself? Whether you're contemplating a career change, wanting to improve your marriage, or looking for ways to be a better parent, I'm here to talk you through it. You can make an appointment to speak with me on air, going to drlaura.com and clicking the Make an Appointment button. My peeps will get in touch to find a day and a time for us to talk. So stop procrastinating. Let me help you. Make your appointment to speak with me and be a part of the program today at drlaura.com.
This is Triumph.
I want to catch the bad guys. I want to arm listeners with information.
Triumph. On Sirius XM.
Dr. Laura.
Your wisdom is like an essential vitamin to me. I need a daily dose.
This is the Dr. Laura program.
I appreciate you sharing your wisdom with all of us.
Thank you.
On Sirius XM Triumph 111.
I'm Dr. Laura Schlesinger. I'm still curling up my toes on the last call, but first let me give you the intro. Hi, 1-800-375-2872. One of the biggest challenges of being the boss is employee-related problems, and of course there's always some new human resources policy or guideline your company has to implement. That's why you need to talk to Bambee. Starting at just $99 a month, Bambee gives you access to your own dedicated HR manager. So your onboarding and terminations run smoothly, your team reaches peak performance, your business stays compliant with changing HR regulations. They even help you automate important practices like setting policies, training, and inviting feedback. Your dedicated Bambee HR manager is U.S.-based, available by phone, email, and real-time chat. HR managers can easily cost $80,000 a year, but Bambee starts at $99 a month. Schedule your free conversation today to see how much Bambee can take off your plate. Visit Bambee.com, type Dr. Laura under radio when you sign up. Spelled BAMBEE.com, type Dr. Laura under radio. But I wanted to talk about the last call. This is horrible, and I just want to make it all better. I just want to whitewash it, make it go away. I don't want to have to make a judgment, take responsibility, make decisions. I just want to hear him say, that's okay. Not going to do this anymore. Sure. And you don't have to have heard something from me to use common sense. So you parents who may not have heard of me, quote, in time, still had common sense. And I opened the show saying there are things you don't get married for. I just want a male image for my son. That's not why you get married. I don't want to be alone. That's not why you get married. I want some guy to pay the bills. That's not why you get married. You have to think these things through, not emotionalize them. And interestingly enough, let me talk about that some more. Founding fathers, they weren't mothers, they weren't trans, they were founding fathers. I just like to have facts be where they are. Were a bunch of extremely educated, deep-thinking men. So when we came up with the concept of pursuit of happiness, why don't you do a little reading in history and see what that meant? It didn't mean, oh, I'm so happy. Oh, this happened and that. I'm really so happy. That's not the happiness they were talking about. Mostly they were into the notion of obligations, responsibility, perseverance, honor, self-control of emotions. They were big on learning how to manage your emotions. And if you go back and do some reading, you'll see that they believed that those were the things that resulted in you being happy, not winning a lottery, not being told you're the prettiest, handsomest, richest. That kind of stuff was not mentioned. It was all about your responsibilities and your quality of character. It's funny, there's a Dr. Jordan who's become very big. He has such an interesting way of talking. When people imitate him, it cracks me up. But one of the things he talks about in being a successful person is make your bed as soon as you get out of it. And people make fun of that. And I thought that was brilliant. Self-discipline. Not being ruled by your emotions. I'm tired, I don't feel like it. That doesn't make you happy. But when you get up, brush your teeth, pee, go back to the bed, make it up, and look at it all pristine and everything, there's a satisfaction. So instead of using happiness, maybe you ought to think about satisfaction. And winning a lottery does not make you feel satisfied because it's nothing you did. My number, 1-800-375-2872. Let's go here. Haley, welcome to the program.
Hi, thank you for taking my call, Dr. Laura.
Thank you.
I was going to give you a little bit of background and then give you my question, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm 38 years old. I have 3 kids, a 14-year-old girl and 2 12-year-old twin boys. A 14-year-old is in 8th grade, transitioning to high school next year, and the 2 boys are in 6th, supposed to be transitioning to 7th grade, all transitioning to a new school. They currently all go to a very small private school. So the boys meet grade standards. They're C students, but they do require a lot of some tutoring and a lot of support from my husband and myself at home to even pull these grades off. And they get frustrated.
Why is
and say that?
Do they have reading problems? What are the problems that requires constant management?
Rushing, wanting to go play outside, just getting it done. They do have a lot of homework. And that's where I see a big part of their grade suffer is the homework part. And I believe they miss a lot of in-person learning because they were in public school previously during the distant learning during COVID. And then their school flooded last year and it closed again. And so I think some of the fundamentals weren't ingrained quite as well as they should have been. And so we're contemplating having them repeat 6th grade next year since they're starting at a new school with the goal that they could be more confident in their academics and that could pave a more successful path for them in school. And being that it's a new school might be a ideal time to do this. But I just wanted to know your opinion on that, holding them back.
I'm sorry. I'm not. This is not anything I'm versed in.
Oh. Okay.
You really need to speak to an educational expert on this who can meet with your kids and decide and help you decide what is the best thing for them.
Do you think
honestly
like psychosocially?
Don't know. I don't know. Anka, what part of I don't know are you unwilling to accept? I don't know. I don't really understand what their problem is. But
well, they don't have a learning disability.
Well, then, why do they have to get all A's?
Oh, they don't. They're just going to a new school that's a little bit more academically challenging. And
well, let them work with the teacher. Why don't you put the burden on them? They're 12 years old, for God's sake. Let them work with the teachers. Anything else they have, raise your hand. Can you give me extra help with this? Sure. Come during recess. Can you just let them handle it, please? How are they ever going to feel confident if mommy and daddy are just going to set everything up for them?
Okay. Yeah, it's how we thought we were raising them, but I didn't realize that it would apply to this too. So that's good food for thought.
I think so. Let them rise above. Talk about feeling self-satisfied. So you sit with them and say, you know what? You had the times the school was closed and all that, and that really was a pain in the neck. And here you're entering a new school. All new schools are challenging because they're new and unfamiliar. We're going to leave it up to you guys to help each other and to ask the teachers to help if you need it, but help each other. So if one of you is doing particularly good in math, help the other. English, help the other. So have them support each other. Let them figure it out. Please, that's how you build confidence. And they don't have to get A's. Not everybody gets A's and B's. That's okay. There's room on the earth for everybody. My number,